Hi there. Welcome to Shine Yoga Studio. My name is Becky and you're here for a beginner basics class. We're going to take it nice and slow tonight and really take our time, talk through the poses, check on our alignment, and get us into good shape for coming back into our yoga practice. Tonight we are live streaming, and then starting next week we will be offering some in-person classes and continue with the live streaming. So you can check our website out at shineyoga.com if you're interested to know more about that. Tonight for props, I have a chair, and you can just use a kitchen table chair or the back of your sofa, anything like that. I brought my own beach towel because if you come to the studio starting next week, you will need to bring your own props, and they don't need to be formal yoga props. They can be anything that works to suit you. And instead of blocks tonight, I have a stool, just a kitchen stool, which will work good. A couple blocks if you have yoga blocks, but you can find something around the house that'll work for you. So let's go ahead and come to our mats and find a comfortable seat. I have Alodie here with me today, so if I am if you can't see me, you might be able to see her a little bit better, and she'll demonstrate some of our wall poses so that I don't have to turn my back to you. So once you found your seat, just nice and comfy, sitting your hips up on your towel or your support, if that would be comfortable for you. Go ahead and gently close your eyes if that's accessible, or you can always just soften your gaze. Look down at the edge of your mat and maybe make your gaze a little bit hazy. Resting your hands in your lap or hands on the knees, and just start to look in on your breath. We're going to do a little bit more of that later. Just observe, see how it's feeling right now. Mine might be a little bit fast because this live streaming is a new experience for us. But as I sit and give it my attention, I notice automatically it begins to slow down, begins to level off. So just watch it travel up and down that energy channel. Shavasana runs along your spine. And with each breath in, expand the spine a little bit, taking the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And with each exhale, let your hips settle into your mat or your cushion. Just following the flow. Coming back to the studio is such a great feeling. But as much as this is my second home, it can be a little scary, a little unnerving, because we've been in a completely different routine. So I thought of the quote that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. This is our first step, coming back and doing the live streaming. And then next week we'll have a few students in the class. And as time goes on, we'll grow and grow, but I don't think we're ever going to go back to where we were. Things will have changed and adapted, transformed, and that is just the nature of life. So I'm proud of you and congratulate you for taking this first step, live streaming your yoga class, getting off of your seat and onto your mat. So we'll just continue a couple more breaths. Equaling out the inhale to the exhale as much as you can. It doesn't need to be perfect. Maybe a count of 3 or 4 on the inhale, and a count of 3 or 4 on the exhale. Emptying all the way down into the lower abdomen. And then lifting your inhale up through the belly, through the heart center, and up towards your shoulders. You can bring your hands to heart center. We call this Anjali Mudra, taking your elbows out to the side, pressing the palms together, and then we'll join our voices in an Om. You can just listen, or you can join in at home if you'd like to. I'm going to exhale completely. Inhale fully. Gently open your eyes, and I'm going to have the students come down to their back. And first thing I want you to do is just spread out, stretch your legs, and lay your torso down on the mat. And I'm going to come close to the camera so you can see a little bit better what I'm describing. And Alodie will be doing it on her mat. Alodie, you can go ahead and stretch your legs all the way out. And we're just going to get really comfortable. Let our shoulder blades come together on our back. Let our shoulders rest down against the mat. You can go ahead and let your feet splay open as you would in Shavasana. And we're going to take one hand to our belly and one hand over our heart and just observe your breath here. Not trying to change it or judge it at this point or to manipulate it in either way, any way. Just kind of observe. Some people are more chest breathers. Some people are belly breathers. What is your body showing you right now? And then as you lay, let's try to do that full body breath. Starting it down here at our belly, bringing it up that energy channel, past our belly, past our heart, up, filling up our lungs completely. And pay attention that we're not just filling up the chest and puffing the chest up, but we're expanding the whole inside of our torso. And just continuing that up and down as we did in seated. You can have your eyes opened or closed, whatever is more comfortable to you. And we'll take 2 more of those long, deep breaths here. And if you want to lay your hands back down at your side when you're done with your last breath there, I'll know you're ready to move on. We're going to link our breath with our movement. So with your hands down to your side, pinkies against the floor, you're going to begin your breath, your inhale. So as I start up my abdomen, I'm going to raise my arms outside along my body, and then I'm going to flip so that my thumb is on the floor, and I'm going to take my arms up overhead. And then I'm going to reverse that and come back down. Don't get too caught up if your thumbs and your pinkies are not in the right spot. It's the linking the breath to the movement, a fundamental action in yoga that we're focusing on right now. So I just want to be here when I'm laying on the mat. It might be a little bit hard to see me, but I'm relaxed and breathing in and out, linking breath with movement. All right, I'm going to head back to the mat, and we're going to roll over onto our tummy. And from there, you're going to place your forehead on the mat, and your arms are going to come up above your head, extended above your head. Forehead is on the mat, and your arms are extended, and your hands are cupped a little bit. Some of my teachers call these spidey hands, or will describe that you have a cupcake under there and you don't want to disturb the frosting. So we're going to just stretch there, and now we're going to practice that breathing, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult because your stomach is on the floor. So really try to breathe into your back. Forehead is on the floor. I'm just trying to have you be able to hear me. So
Don't get confused. Breathing the full length of your torso and the full diameter or circumference of your torso. One more breath there, nice and long and calming. What journey are you ready to start? What new adventure do you want to begin? First you have to see it and envision it, and then you make that first move. Then we're going to lift your forehead off the mat, gently lifting your shoulders, and we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So that's going to be your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Forearms are parallel to each other, about shoulder distance or hip distance apart. Fingers are spread wide, and the forearms are pressing down into the mat gently so that your lower back is not collapsing. You don't need to crank your head back to like you're looking up at the ceiling or where the wall meets the ceiling. You're just going to keep it as a continuous extension of your spine. Couple of breaths here. After your next exhale, start to lift your hips and walk your knees in, and we're going to come into a table pose. This is a very common pose in yoga. And let's just review our anatomy and our alignment here. So we want to have our fingers spread evenly, our palms spread, distributing our weight onto the mat. Our arms are perfectly straight, and our elbows are right above our wrists, and our shoulders are right above our elbows. I've got my toes tucked under. They don't need to be, but that helps my knees feel a little bit better. And I'm not creating a saddle with my back. I'm trying to create an even table. From here, we're going to go ahead and, with our exhale, arch our back up like a Halloween cat. And then slowly coming back through table, finding that neutral spot, and then letting your belly drop a little bit, lifting your heart and your gaze forward. And we'll link that with the breath. Exhale, arch up. Come back through neutral table, and then chest and gaze forward. And do that with your breath. If there's any added movement to there that would make you feel better right now, go ahead and feel free to explore it. Nice. That feels really good. Alodie and I were talking about sitting a little bit and being ready to get back into a little more movement ourselves. So from this cat-cow position now, we'll come back to the stable, neutral position. We're going to extend our right foot behind us, straightening that leg, turning the toes under, and keeping my hands, my arms, my torso stable. I'm going to energetically push that heel, that right heel, away from my body, from my hip. Then I'm going to gently lift it up and take it outside of my left foot. And then I'm going to take my gaze over my left shoulder and look back at my toes behind me. That opens up the right side of my body with a nice, gentle crescent shape. Take a couple breaths here. It's all about breath with movement. Well, now I'm starting to really feel that release. All right, bringing your gaze back forward, bring your foot back behind you, and then the knee up to meet the other. We're going to take our left leg back this time. And like I said, keeping the arms and the torso stable, just energetically push that back heel away from you. Building up a little arm strength, holding this for a while. If your wrists start to get sore, you can go ahead and make a fist and keep them like that so they don't get so much wear and tear. Then lift that back leg, take it outside of the right foot, and gaze over your right shoulder, back at those toes. Nice. One more breath here. And bring it back to our table position. This is kind of like our base right here for today's class. So now I'm going to bring my right hand a little closer to my left hand, and I'm going to lift my right knee and bring my knee forward, foot planted on the ground. And I like to go ahead and just straighten up and adjust my hips when I come up like this. And then I'm going to take my left hand back down to the ground. And if you want to make that fist again, this is a nice time to give your wrist a rest. And I'm going to turn my torso. Right hand is on right knee, and I'm just going to twist open a little bit. And you can take your neck for as much of a turn as is comfortable. Look up towards the ceiling or straight out in front of you, whatever is best for you. And just enjoy that. Take a moment. Is your right knee over your right ankle? That's the optimum alignment here. All right, so I'm going to bring my right hand back down to the ground, take that knee back to meet the other, and we'll do the other side. Bring my left hand in towards my right a little bit, lift the knee and bring that foot forward. Check your alignment here. Then bring your left knee or hand to your left knee, right hand to the ground, and open up. If you want to roll out onto the outside blade of that front foot, you're welcome to do that. Open up just a little bit more, but don't push it open. Just let it kind of fall open naturally. Nice. Coming back through center. And we're going to step forward to a forward fold. So place your hands on either side of your front foot. Lift that back knee, get a little momentum, and just either walk it forward or swing it forward in one move. Bend your knees as much as you need to touch the ground. I have my footstool here, or my kitchen stool, whatever you're using. And that's nice to go ahead and place your hands firmly on that height so that you can keep our proper alignment. Once you've hinged at the hips and you feel pretty comfortable, you can go ahead and round the back with a nice even rounding, bending your elbows back towards your knees. Nice. Being able to touch our knees or our nose to our knees is not really a natural human position, so don't feel bad if it doesn't come naturally to you. I'm going to bend my knees and come back up to standing. Nice. And we'll just review our Tadasana or mountain pose. So in this pose, I want my second toe on each foot to be lined up together with each other. Then I'm going to note that my ankle is right under my knee is right under my hip is right under my shoulder, and my neck is in line with my spine. Just let your arms hang with your thumbs facing front, and you're energized. You're feeling strong and victorious like a mountain. Right, and then just breathe there and relax into your body. Sometimes we don't think about our posture a lot, and with recurrent movement that we do throughout the day, we take it out of alignment. And so it really is a conscious effort that we have to make to bring it back into alignment. And once we create that habit, you'll find yourself feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot less aches and pains throughout the day. We're going to go ahead and do a few arm stretches. I'd like you to interlace your fingers. Take note of which pinky is on the bottom. My right pinky is on the bottom of the weave right now. I'm going to put my palms facing away from me. Then I'm going to press my arms straight, and I'm even going to lean forward a little bit. Then I'm going to consciously bring those shoulders back to my Tadasana position. And then I'm going to raise both arms up so that the palms would be coming to the ceiling, and go as high as you can without taking yourself out of alignment. Don't sacrifice the alignment for the height. So keep your belly toned and in line. And then separate the fingers and bring them back down to the side. We'll do that again, but this time my left pinky is going to be on the top. I'm going to turn it inside out. I'm going to lean forward a little bit. And then I'm going to bring myself back into alignment. And I'm going to lift my arms. My belly is not jutting out. My torso is pretty stable. And I'm extending my arms, my palms to the ceiling. Nice, everybody. And then bring your arms back down. And we're going to do another arm stretch. So we're going to take our elbows out to the side from our shoulders. And this is called Cactus Pose, or I have a teacher who calls it bank robbery pose. She used to teach here at Shine, and I will never forget that. So take your elbows a little bit in front of your shoulders, and your hands will go back a little bit, bringing the shoulder blades together on the back. Guess I'll just keep doing it. Okay, now go ahead and bring your arms down. Then go ahead and bring your shoulders out to the, or your elbows out to the side again. Elbows forward, palms back. And let your arms fall and come on down to the side. Nice, everybody. We're going to do a couple of mini salutes. So we're going to bring our arms up above our head, bend our knees, bring our arms back down and over, bringing them either to your stool or to the floor if you're just more limber, and some. Really extend that spine long, and then once you're comfortable, you can bend forward a little bit. Go ahead and let the arms drop down, sweep them out to the sides, coming back up to standing, and hands to heart center. Lift the arms overhead, out to the side, back over, hands to the floor or to your block. Really extend that spine from the hips, and then you can round once you're in a good position. No need to do the rounding if that feels uncomfortable. Go ahead, I'm going to drop my arms and then take them out to the side, circle them up, and hands to heart center. One more time. Hands up, bending the knees as we bring them back down. I'm going to go to the floor this time, but I can keep my knees nice and bent, extending the spine, long line from the tip of the crown to the tip of my tailbone, and then I can round in. Sweeping my arms out, bending my knees, coming up to standing, and hands to heart center. We're going to do a modified Sun Salutation. So we'll start with that same action that we took for the mini salute. So coming to the front of your mat, we'll lift our arms up overhead, take them out to the side as we bend our knees and round forward. Okay, we're going to take one foot back and then drop our knee, and then we're going to take the other knee back to meet that one. You can take your knees just a little farther back if you like. And when we go down, we're going to take our elbows straight back, keeping our body in line, one long straight line. Take our elbows back and slowly lower your chest to the mat. Adjust your hands so they're right alongside your chest. And then extending the head and the chest forward, we're going to lift into a small Cobra Pose. All 5 toes on the ground. Bring the forehead back to the mat. With your palms and your knees, you're going to press in and push back up into your table pose. Now we're going to lift our knees and our hips up towards the ceiling, keeping our arms straight and extended, and bring our ears in line with our upper arms. Knees can stay bent. Tailbone going towards the ceiling, and breathe here. We're going to come back down to our table, and then we're going to lift up into that down dog again. So nice, smooth movement. Lifting the hips, arms straight, ears between the upper arms. One long line. The spine, the neck, the head. Come on back down into your table pose. And lift one more time into down dog. Now you have some options to come up to standing again. You can drop your knees, and just like we did earlier in the class, you can bring one foot forward and then the other to come to standing. Or from your down dog, you can just slowly walk your hands towards your feet, bending your knees as much as you need to, coming into your forward fold. And then circle sweep your arms up and out to the side, hands to heart center. Good job, everyone. I hope that feels good. Let's try it again. Arms up and overhead, bending the knees, hinging at the hips, coming into your forward fold. This time we'll take the left knee back first, and then the right knee coming into our table. And we're going to come up into down dog. Doesn't matter if your heels go to the floor. You don't need to straighten the legs. Press those hands into the mat like you're pushing it away from you. And just breathe here. Let's go ahead and try to lift our right leg and make a nice long line from our front wrist, right front wrist, to our right ankle. Bring that foot down to meet the other, and we'll take the left foot up. And lower that down. And I'm going to go ahead and come down to my table and come forward this way. You can do whichever way you like. Coming to a forward fold. Circle, sweep the arms up and overhead, and hands down to heart center. Just take a moment, close your eyes, breathe here. Feel that breath. I bet it's sped up quite a bit. I can feel my heart moving. All right. Circle, sweep the arms up and overhead. Hinge at the hips, bend the knees, coming over into your forward fold, whichever version works for you. If you have your hands up on a block, you might find that you can straighten your legs just a little bit more. Take the right foot back, drop the knee, plant your hands, come into your table pose, and we're going to go through our plank again. This is a knee plank. If you know plank pose with your feet off, or your knees off the floor, you're welcome to do that. But don't overdo. Don't let our ego get in our way. One long straight line. Crown of the head, tip of the tailbone. Elbows back alongside the body and slowly lowering. My chest gets to the floor just slightly before my hips. That protects our back. Go ahead and lift your chest and forehead forward. Maybe straightening those arms a little bit, but keep plenty of bend there. All 10 toes on the floor. Come back to your mat. Press in with your hands and your knees, keeping that plank position. Hips come up as the same time as your shoulders. Coming into the table, and then back in to down dog. And let's just take a breath here. Maybe walk your dog out a little bit. One heel goes down as the other lifts higher. Walking the dog, and then find some steadiness. Taking that first step, and and then making your way. This time, let's try walking our hands back to our feet. See which one you like better. I happen to like this one better. Gets me a little more arm work. Coming to your forward fold, and then circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Good work, everybody. We're going to do that same stretch that we did on the floor at the beginning of our class. We're going to do that at the wall. Alodie will demonstrate, and I'll kind of show it to you from here. So what you're doing is maybe coming, 6 inches away from the wall, and then you're going to extend your arms up overhead, cupcake fingers pressing against the wall, and really bring your shoulders away from your ears and your shoulder blades together on your back. Breathing. Really working those arms, hollow out the armpits, building some strength in those fingers as you press them against the wall. And then just let your arms come down to the side. We're going to do a wall plank, which is just like we would do during our sun salutations, but we take the challenge of gravity out of it. So we really can get the actions without fighting gravity, and we can get the right alignment, the right form, so that we're safe when we're doing it on the floor. So if I had a wall right here and Alodie's doing it over there, I'm going to extend my hands and put my palms and my fingers spread evenly on the wall. And then I'm going to bend my elbows down, keeping them the same distance from each other. Bend my elbows down towards my waist as I lean forward into the wall. And then I'm going to press my arms back into the wall to come back to standing straight. Nice, Alodie. Elbows straight down as she goes into the wall. Now the tricky thing with this, and then she's going to straighten her arms and come back to standing. Alodie, you might be able to move your hands a little bit closer together, more shoulder distance apart, so your elbows are going straight down. You want to be careful not to go too far down into the wall when you don't have the strength to push yourself away from it. So, baby steps. You want your arms to really be doing the work so that we're building upper body strength. And maybe 2 more times. Nice. Alodie has a nice long line from the back of her head all the way down to the back of her heels. She's one long line. Her belly is not reaching the wall before her chest. Her chest isn't reaching it way before her hips. She stays in a nice straight line. Really the only thing moving, or the most movement we should see, is right here in our arms and our elbows. So I'm bringing my elbows down to my side. Nice work, Alodie. If you'd like to step away from the wall, we're going to do a wall dog now. I'm going to use the chair and Alodie will use the wall. So you can use the back of the couch. It might be a little more stable. If you have a yoga mat and a less sturdy chair like I have here, you might want to be sure that it's on the mat so that it doesn't slip away from you. If I'm at the wall, I'm going to place my palms against the wall. Here I'm just going to gently lay my palms on the top of the chair. I'm going to step back with my knees bent, and it's going to end up being about from the palm of my hand to the back of my hips is the distance I'm away. But first thing I want to do is bring my shoulder blades together, bring my ears between my upper arms, and then see if I can keep my belly engaged, my back supported, and extend my legs straight. Kind of hollowing out those armpits once again like we did in the other position. And breathe here. Shoulder blades together, lower abdominal muscles engaged, back supported. To come out of it, just bend those elbows and step forward, and we'll do that another time.
may not seem that difficult, but you really are building up a lot of strength in your shoulders, your upper arms, and you're building that proper body alignment. So, hands planted, take a nice big step back, lower the torso so that it becomes parallel to the floor. Keep your knees bent until you get that position. Parallel torso, ears between the upper arms. Armpits hollowed out, shoulder blades together, and the shoulders are away from the ears, not hunched up. And then, if you can keep all that, feel free to extend the legs straight. Nice, everybody. One more breath here. Good work. Stepping up, moving back to your mat. And before we start to move to the floor, you'll want to get, excuse my back, you'll want to get your block or your towel or some kind of support we're going to place underneath our hips for a supported bridge. So coming to the top of your mat, we'll go ahead and just do a little mini salute our way down to the floor. Arms up overhead, hinging at the hips, bending the knees, coming forward into a forward fold. Take one leg back, the other leg back, coming to our stable table. And let's just do a couple cat-cows here in case we've got any tension built up from those strength poses. Nice. And just let your hips fall back and we'll bring our feet forward. I'm going to go ahead and sit up on my towel. A towel is a nice choice for a prop because it's easily washed. So first thing we're going to do is take our feet out, extending our legs in front of us. Maybe lift the fleshy part away from the sits bones on your back. Try to sit up nice and tall, spine extended. I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to stand it outside of my left calf. My left foot is flexed and engaged. I'm going to go ahead and just use my knee, my right knee, for a little support to make sure that I'm really sitting up tall. And then I'm going to take my left hand behind me and just open up in a nice open twist. Breathing. And you might find if you try to take your gaze, you don't have to over crank your neck behind you, but take your gaze as far behind you as you can take it. And it opens things up a little bit more. Where the eyes go, the body follows. So it's the mind. All right, gently coming back through center. We'll extend the right leg, plant the left foot outside of the right shin, or I'm sorry, calf. Make sure that we're sitting up straight. Take our right hand behind us like a kickstand and open, a nice open twist. Not cranking, we always want to extend upward and then take our twist. No forcing. And one more breath there. And coming back to center. Now we're going to take just a nice easy seat, cross-legged. I have one shin in front of the other. And sit up nice and straight. Maybe take your hands behind you. Give a little push. Make sure your spine has got plenty of room between the vertebrae. And take note, which shin is in front right now? My right shin is in front. So then I'm going to take my right hand behind me. I'm going to bring my left hand to my left knee if it will reach. If not, you can bring it in closer to your torso. And I'm just going to once again expand as tall as I can and then gently twist to the side. Twist to the right. Gently unwinding, coming back towards the center. Nice. Then I'm going to take my left hand behind me, right hand to the right knee or up where my leg meets my torso, and gently twist to this side. and gently coming back to the center. We're gonna go ahead and change the cross of our legs. So now my left shin is gonna come in front of me. And that may feel just totally bizarre to you. We really do get in our habits. And when we do it any different, it feels weird. Our body is going, wait, what's happening here? So just that creates some flexibility, not just physically, but mentally, when we can change and get out of our habit, out of our comfort zone. So we're gonna once again take our right hand behind us, left hand over to the right side, and look behind us with a nice gentle twist. Not over torquing, just nice and gentle. Coming back through the center, and we'll take our left hand behind us, extending that spine before we come to our full twist. And coming back to center. I hope you're doing well. All right, we're going to come to our back, and I'd like us to come back to that position we were in at the beginning of class, where we have a hand on our belly and a hand up above our heart, and just observe now. Reflect a little bit. Have you learned anything new? Has any of this been different for you, where you're breaking out of the routine, ready to take that first step towards a new action? So go ahead and let's come to our back. And you can take your choice here. If you would like, you can keep your feet standing on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, or you can extend them like we did at the beginning. Feel free to let the ankles splay out. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, and see, just notice if you see a difference with your breath, with your heartbeat. With your body, does it feel looser? Does it feel more at ease after doing a little bit of our practice? Not judging, just observing. What's your next step? I'm going to make this one easy because I'm going to tell you. We're going to bring our feet to the floor, bending your knees up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and lift your feet off the floor, bringing your knees towards your chest. And we're just going to draw circles on the ceiling with our knees, both going in the same direction. Hands on the end or tops of the knees to give them a little support. This should feel really good on your lower back, massaging muscles. Lots of little tiny muscles around the sacrum there that can cause us a lot of difficulty if they get too constricted, too tight. So give them a little bit of a massage and then go in the other direction. Nice. All right, bring your feet back to the floor. And we're going to do a reclined pigeon pose. So for this, you're going to bring your right knee towards your chest, take the knee out to the right a little bit, and then place your ankle just below the left knee. The foot can come outside of the knee there a little bit. And first, all I want you to do is relax your shoulders back towards the mat. Maybe lift a little and bring your shoulder blades together. And gently let that right knee move away, fall away from your right shoulder. We're not touching it, we're not pushing it. Don't want to force anything. We're just letting it open up. Now, you could take, if you have a block, you could take it and put it under your left foot for a little bit of an increased stretch there. Or if you can, you could interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, but only do that if you can keep your shoulders relaxed on the mat. This shouldn't create any tension in your shoulders or your neck. I'm flexing both my feet, keeping my muscles engaged on my legs, and of course I'm breathing. Mindful that that right knee is moving away from the right shoulder. And one more breath here. Nice. Slowly lower that left foot to the floor. And we're just going to bring both feet to the floor. Take them a little wider than hips distance apart. And we're going to do some windshield wipers. So that's where I keep my torso, my hips even on the ground, and I take both knees over to the right. And then back through center and over to the left. My torso stays pretty, or my shoulders, my head and neck stay pretty steady, and I'm getting a little bit of a twist through my torso. Just back and forth, and then we're gonna bring the knees up to the ceiling again, and we're gonna do the other side. So bring your left knee towards your chest, let it fall open to the left, and bring that left ankle just outside the right knee. And for now, just let your hands fall down to the side and think about letting that left knee move away from the left shoulder. Nice and gentle, nothing's forced. Muscles are toned and engaged, but not clenched. And then, if you feel like it, you can lift that foot, left foot, or right foot, off the ground. You can let it rest on a block. You can bring that right shin parallel to the floor, interlace your fingers behind the right thigh, and let the left knee move ever so gently away from the left shoulder. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, no tension whatsoever in the neck and shoulders. We always want you to go away from yoga feeling better than when you started. And pretty much that's always been the case. All right, so gently bring that right foot back down. We're going to do just a couple more windshield wipers here to neutralize things. Spread the feet a little wider than your mat and take them both over to the right, over to the left, maybe 2 or 3 times to each side. And we're starting to wind down. All right, our last pose is going to be a bridge pose before we come into relaxation. So for bridge pose, you're going to want to bring your shoulder blades together on your back, shoulders resting nicely on the mat. Your heels are right behind your sits bones, those bones in the middle of your glute, fleshy part of your rear end. Knees are going up towards the ceiling, thighs are parallel to one another. That was a lot to take in, so let's see how that's feeling. You can either extend your arms long, palms down to the mat, and when you do that, you almost automatically want to bring your shoulder blades in a little bit more, or you can bend at the elbows with the palms facing each other. So as I lift my hips, my weight is going to be pressing in behind my head, the back of my head. My shoulders are going to be pressing in. My arms are going to be pressing into the floor, and my feet are going to be pressing in. My abdominal muscles are engaged, my glutes are engaged, and I'm going to lift my hips up off the floor, bringing my chest towards my chin. I'm going to bring my cushion, whatever it is, block, folded up towel, and I'm going to put it under my hips, and I'm going to come down. Then we're going to move up and down from there. It's just going to be a little easier on your back with that support underneath, so you don't have to come all the way back down to the floor. All right, engage, lift the hips. Chest comes towards the chin. Chin is going up towards the ceiling, and then lower back down. And maybe try to sync this movement with your breath. Inhaling as you lower down. I like to exhale on the insertion as I'm lifting up, but whatever feels more natural in your body. And one last lift. Going back down to your support. Stretch your right leg fully extended. Really taking the heel away from your hip. This is just a very slight psoas stretch with that little bit of support underneath our sacrum. We're stretching this front part of our hip, which doesn't get stretched a whole lot. On most of it, it's shortened because of our sitting. So let's go ahead and bring that foot back in, and we'll extend the left leg straight. Really extending the heel. All right, coming back up to center. And we're just going to do those windshield wipers one more time. Make sure everything's neutralized. Taking both knees over to the right, to the left. And Alodie, you continue with that just a moment. I'm going to lower the lights as we get ready to come into Shavasana. I'll be right back. I see Alodie has rolled up a yoga mat under her hips instead of a block. That's a really nice idea. I could have rolled my towel up to create just as much height as I need. So just be creative with your props. And Alodie, once you're feeling comfortable there, you can go ahead and just stretch out. As she lays down, I hope that she will adjust her clothing so that she doesn't have a crease or a wrinkle or something that during the course of our Shavasana comes to be a distraction for her. So she's just going to lay flat. And especially for beginners, it's very important to know that Shavasana, as important as any of the strength poses or the toning poses that we do, it's when we let everything assimilate into our body. All that fine alignment, all that linking breath to movement, the quieting of the mind that comes with the movement is all assimilated during our relaxation pose. So always adjust your yoga practice so that you have time left at the end for at least a few minutes of Shavasana. As you lay there, go ahead and just observe your breath again like we did at the beginning. If it's comfortable to close your eyes, go ahead and gently do that. Let the eyes rest in the back of the sockets. Let the back of your head rest onto the mat. Let your jaw unclench if there's any holding remaining there. The tongue rest in the bottom of your mouth. The shoulders relax back onto the mat. The palms face up towards the ceiling, hands not holding any tension. The heart is open. Courageous. Ready to walk into the future to begin that next adventure. That journey of 1,000 miles. Hips are heavy. There's no tension in the back of your knees. exhale, letting go of a little more tension. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, letting it deepen ever so slightly. One of my favorite song lyrics comes from Rocky Mountain High by John Denver. And it says, he was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him, you might say. He was born again. You might say he found the key to every door. Yogis, we have a chance to start anew every single day. We're never going to be the same person we were yesterday. Begin that journey every morning with courage, with an open heart, with a joyful heart, and know that it may not be easy, but you have the strength to do it inside of you. Gently start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Breathing a little bit deeper. Slowly bring your knees up towards your chest. Maybe give yourself a big hug, and then a full extension, maybe a little yawn, moving in any way that feels good to you. And then slowly rolling over to one side or the other. Using the strength of your arms to push yourself up into a seated position. Bringing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. I want to once again thank you for joining me in my yoga practice here at Shine Yoga Studio. Thank you to Alodie for joining our practice. Namaste. So glad you could join us. Come again.